Hi, I'm Eric Sierfoss Miller, local judge. With me today is Bryan Manger, and we are going to talk about standard Jeskai control. So I like this deck. It's a little pricey for me personally, but it's fine. So why would you play Jeskai over the other types of control available in standard?
So basically, Jeskai gives you access to both the Fairy and Expansion Explosion. Just Teferi is just a very strong win con. It can win games by itself, but it's the secondary win con behind this. And also, it combos very well with playing Azor's Gateway because you can untap the land and kill them at the end of your turn. So that's like one major reason to play Jeskai over the other ones. Soul Tide Peak Manger just because you can win Carnage Tyrant, which is like the pinnacle of the format right now. And then Blue-Red doesn't have as strong as a mid game as this does, and this has more board clears. So it just makes it a little smoother.
Okay, well, let's look at the deck real quick. Starting down here, we have the Man of the Hour, Teferi. So this is one of the strongest cards probably in the standard format right now. Why don't you talk to me about what makes him so good?
So basically, for control decks, the strong point of control decks is being able to hold mana open on your opponent's turn. With the Planeswalkers, though, usually you have to play them on your turn, but he untaps 2 of the mana. So if you go turn 5 and play up 1 curve, you can have mana open on your opponent's turn still to use your 2 mana spells, like Disdainful Stroke, Essence Scatter, Syncopate, Seal Away, and your other cheap answers. So it really gives you access to not fall behind by playing your threats. It also has the ability to tuck permanents, which lets you pull ahead on the board as well.
Okay. So moving over here, Azor's Gateway. Now, I feel like this is a recent addition to the deck, considering the price quadrupled over the last couple days.
Yeah, it did.
What does Azor's Gateway do?
So basically, it's a 2 mana enchantment, and you just get to draw a card each turn. It taps itself to do that. And when it flips, if you have 5 different mana costs under it, you gain 5 life, and then the other side lets you tap it for X, where X is the amount of life you have, for 1 color of mana.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right. So that's really you can just make an absolute ton of mana with that, which pairs well with one of the primary win cons, it looks like, down here.
Yeah, that's how you win.
So we have Banefire, which is a standard fireball, but is uncounterable once it's big enough. And then, I'm not gonna lie, this is my favorite card they've printed in a very long time. Expansion Explosion.
This card's insane.
Talk to me about this card. I'm so excited to hear about it.
Okay, so basically it moved you away from creatures because it has 2 sides to it. The front side is a copy target instant sorcery, which lets you use it in just so many ways. Like if they go to destroy your Teferi with Assassin's Trophy or Vraskyn Contempt even, you can copy it and get rid of one of their permanents as well. Or if you get in the counter war against other control decks, you can just copy that and it becomes counterspell.
Yeah.
But for easier mana cost. Like, the front side is insane by itself. The back side is a win con though. It's very similar to Sphinx's Revelation.
Yep.
Lets you deal X damage to target and then draw that many cards. Well, you can target either player with that.
Yeah,
with those abilities.
that is something I actually really like about Explosion. Is I've seen people target their opponent with the draw to just mill them out, which is hilarious.
It's a very common theme. That's a big win con, especially against the green decks that are winning a lot with the life gain creature.
The
Wild Walker.
Wild Growth Walker.
Yes, Wild Growth.
Yeah, I was like, I had to think about that as well.
Yeah, this card's super versatile.
And with Azor's Gateway, you can pump an absolutely just ridiculous amount of mana into that.
Through the roof. And same with Banefire. It's Banefire being in the main deck just kind of shows you the power of Azor's Gateway by itself.
Absolutely.
Because if you're in a control matchup, you're winning the game. Like, you land this, and you're going to win the game as long as you stop all the abilities that would get this off the field.
Yeah.
So,
and this package right here goes a long way doing that. You have a pretty standard counterspell package. We got 4 Ionize. Now, 3. Oh, really?
Yeah.
So why not have the 4th hard counter?
So basically it's based off of I think it was Nassif. I don't remember. Eli Cassis had a list out that he won GP with. He was playing 3, and the only way that I could really consider doing that was if I was playing this draw card he was playing, the Divination.
Yep.
Only playing 3 kind of, it puts you in a weaker spot, but you have so many answers to creatures, and the format right now is very creature-based.
Yeah.
So the hard counters aren't as necessary right now. I could anticipate if it switches to more of a control meta, bumping that up to 4 if you need to. But you have expansion, so...
Yeah, so that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have 3 of those. You have 2 Syncopates, the Disdainful Stroke, as your just kind of catch-all counter magic. Then you have 2 Essence Scatter in the main, and all of this beautiful, beautiful creature removal. You have 2 Seal-Aways. Now, Seal Away, this one's in Japanese, so I don't remember exactly what it does. It exiles a tapped creature?
Yeah, it comes in flash.
Yeah, it has flash, exile a tapped creature an opponent controls.
Just tap creature.
Any tapped creature, okay.
Basically, the reason you're running this over other Justice Strikes, A, is the mana cost is a little easier. Although red's the base color of your shock lands,
Yep.
which is important to note for later. But it also gets rid of Adanto Vanguard. That card is literally unbeatable if you're not playing this.
Yeah.
Or Settle the Wreckage. So
Yeah,
it's
and
kind
we
of
have
necessary either.
we do have 2 settles in the main. Is this your concession to Carnage Tyrants?
Yeah, actually, this is probably switch. One of these should probably be Cleansing Nova, maybe both. Having the settle on the side though is correct, I think, fully.
Okay. So having 3 in the 75, or just 2 in the 75?
Probably honestly, I'd probably go to 1 and play 2 Cleansing Nova. Like if I were to edit the deck like to this minute, Carnage Tyrant is the bane of this deck.
It is the bane of all control decks right now, and it is everywhere.
I hate that card.
We do have Deafening Clarion, which is, in my opinion, Red's best board wipe right now.
Yes.
And I feel like if I were to personally be moving over to Jeskai, this would be the biggest reason why right here. Because I can't afford Fairies.
Yes.
But I would love to be running this right here. Then you have Justice Strike and Shock, pretty boilerplate stuff. You comment on Divination, just draws 2 cards.
Yeah, it also holds you to another spot for your 3 mana cost for Azor's Gateway.
That is actually pretty good.
Yeah, the 4s are low, but your 3s are more important. So it's harder to get rid of your 3s.
That makes a lot of sense.
So,
Chemister's Insight, again, pretty standard draw spell.
yeah.
Star of Extinction. I love the fact that people are playing Star of Extinction because it's one of my favorite cards out of that whole block.
Yeah, it has multiple functions.
So it destroys a land and does 20 damage to all creatures.
Yep, and it costs 7.
Yeah, which is
is
great
important.
for Resource Gateway.
Yeah, that's the biggest part, is that it costs 7. Because if you're playing Cleansing Novas over the Settles,
Those are
for
5s,
this, they're
yeah.
5, and you already have 4 Fairies. And you kind of get clunked up under this thing.
Yep.
So the biggest issue with this is like sometimes you get stuck with either A, you just have multiple lands you want to get rid of, which isn't really a problem. Like you're just filtering your deck anyway.
Right.
Or you have too many 2-drops under it. So it kind of pins you under certain spots.
Now, what does Expansion Explosion count as under an Azor's Gateway for people who don't know?
6.
Yep. Yes. So that ruling was changed. It used to count as a 2 and a 4,
Yeah.
but now it only counts as the combined total.
Yeah.
Looking down at the mana base, pretty standard mix. You're very blue heavy down here, but you said your shock lands are all red base.
Yeah, they're center red.
Why is that?
So when the Shocklands got released, it was I don't remember what the set was based out of, but basically the shocks that follow under Jeskai's what's it called? Shard. Were red white and blue red, which forces your mana base to be centered red.
Yep.
Whereas if you're playing Grixis, it's centered blue because it's blue black and blue red for your Shocklands.
Yep.
So it kind of
Once we have the next Ravnica set and you have access to Hollow Fountains, some number of those will be making their way into the deck.
oh yeah, easy. Yeah. The it also lets you cut down on the basics, which I have a lot of basics in here.
Yeah.
Which can be troublesome because of the sideboard. There's like Niv Mizzet in here and Crackling Drakes.
Yep.
You're kind of forced into playing these planes that you just don't want to play.
That makes sense. Well, let's look at the sideboard, speaking of which. So we have these Crackling Drakes. That's just a pretty efficient clock now, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And it replaces itself. That's very important.
And then we have Sunmare?
Shieldmare.
Shieldmare.
Yes.
What does Shieldmare do?
So when it enters the battlefield, you gain 3 life, or if
Okay.
it gets targeted by a red spell or ability your opponent controls, you gain 3 life. And it can't be blocked by red creatures.
What's its size?
2/3.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
so-
pretty good.
It's very well based against mono red decks. Usually, and even if you counter the spell they target it with, you still gain 3 life.
That's pretty good.
So like you can just sit on it, gain 9 life. If they hit it with the spell, like it's still gaining double that because they're not hitting you with the spell.
Yeah. You can, is it target spell an opponent controls?
Opponent, yes.
Oh, I was like, you can't just shock it to gain
No,
3.
no.
That would be
That'd
insane.
awesome.
All right, then we have Nezahal, Niv Mizzet. Nezahal we've seen in a couple other decks, so I don't really want to talk about that too heavily, but it's a very, very good control win con.
Yeah, it's a hard clock, big body.
Niv Mizzet, I love the fact that people are playing this big dragon.
Yeah.
It's such a powerful effect. Whenever you draw a card, it deals a damage to target thing, and whenever any player plays an instant or sorcery, you draw a card, which makes you deal damage to a thing, which is just incredible.
Can't be countered.
Can't be countered. I always forget that line of text. Rekindling Phoenix, just resilient body.
Oh yeah, that thing lives forever. It's usually, so the whole theory is like, you're not playing any creatures in your main board.
Yeah.
So your opponent, theoretically, they're not going to have as much creature move in your main deck, so you put in these resilient threats that they are going to have an extremely hard removing. Cracking Drake gets over the 3 damage threshold
For
so
burn.
lightning strike and
Yep.
stuff. Yep. Shieldmare is obviously it takes too many resources for the decks you put it in against. And as a whole, huge, and it has evasion. Niv Mizzet gains value off itself while it's going, and Rekindling Phoenix obviously has the recursion.
Yep.
So you want your threats to be extremely efficient.
Absolutely. Now, Nezahal has the ability that whenever your opponent targets it, or is it whenever your opponent casts a spell?
Cast a non-creature spell.
Non-creature spell? Okay, where you draw a card, and you can pitch 3 cards from your hand to exile it till end of turn?
You exile it until the next start of an instant.
Okay. That's just ridiculous. I love this package of creatures right here. Then moving down, we have Invoke the Divine. That's just, what does that card do?
Destroy target artifact or enchantment, and then you gain 4 life.
And-
It's basically for the red deck. The frenzies are extremely hard to beat. So you just bring it against that, and then obviously if there's artifact based.
Yep. And then you have extra copies of Seal Away and Settle the Wreckage. You have an extra Disdainful Stroke, 2 negates, which is pretty standard for control decks, and then you have 2.
It's like when the format rotated over, it went from people playing 3 to 4 of these to just 2. Like you don't need it as much anymore because you have Expansion Explosion.
Yeah, that actually
this card
makes-
cleared up so much extra space in your sideboard.
Yeah, that
So-
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Then you have 2 Fight with Fires. How often are you just casting that for the 3, and how often are you kicking it?
So basically, almost every deck it gets kicked.
Yeah.
Unless you're playing in mono green decks, which are seldom in between. So like, it's really just in there just to kill the 5/4.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So, but yeah.
All right. Well, let's wrap this up. Do you have any closing remarks that you want to make about why this is such a cool deck to be playing right now?
So basically, with the other decks in the format, the only other deck that's heavily played right now is green-black, which relies on having a board presence, and then they recur their threats with finality. This deck, it just plays better cards. Like card for card, your cards are better, except for finality is extremely powerful card. But this deck controls, it has the best cards in the format in it,
Yep.
and it's just hard to beat. So.
All right. Well, thank you very much for hanging out and explaining this. Again, my name is Eric Searfoss Miller,
I'm Bryan Manger.
and thank you for watching our deck tech. We'll see you next time.